Hey Mercedes, how are you?
Good, good. And yourself?
Doing great. I gotta say, before we go any forward with the Dakota Kai match on Tuesday night, gotta say, as someone from Connecticut, it's so awesome to see someone representing CT as well.
Oh, watch out now. 203 in the house.
So I was discussing this with my girlfriend. I don't think we've seen many people, aside from Triple H, obviously, they bill him from Greenwich. I don't think we've seen many other people come out of Connecticut in WWE, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. CT does not have a wrestling training facility anywhere. Like, I trained there, and that was just something out of the blue that it
Yeah.
just kind of found me at the right time. So definitely the Connecticut is not a place where, wrestlers are born or bred.
I guess not. Yeah, so it's cool to see you among that elite group, which is awesome. When you first came to NXT, you were billed from Waterbury. Then I think it changed very briefly to Bronx, if I'm not mistaken. And now it's the Brass City, which just sounds badass. Can you discuss the evolution of, like, where you've been billed the last couple of years since you've come to NXT?
Yeah, well, Waterbury is obviously where I'm from, and I wanted to keep it. I think when I came back from a brief hiatus to come back as, more badass, I guess you can say, Bronx, New York probably would have sounded great. My family is from the Bronx, New York,
Nice.
but it just didn't fit me. I think it just didn't fit me. I still wanted to represent Waterbury, and Brass City CT sounds a lot more badass than Waterbury, and it's still Waterbury, just Brass City. It fits right now. It fits my persona a little bit more over the years.
No, that's true. That's true. And just hearing Brass City, for those who know, they know. So it's awesome. And hearing Waterbury is cool too. But again, it sounds more badass to say Brass City. It's like, okay, awesome. Shit is going down, But you're facing Dakota Kai tomorrow night in NXT. It's going to be a great match. You two have actually faced off prior to WWE. So what's going to be making this match different on Tuesday night, if anything?
You know what's funny is everyone thinks I don't remember wrestling Dakota ever.
Wow. Okay.
Like, I think we've been on the same shows, same companies in the past. We just never wrestled on a one-on-one. Because if it did, I would have remembered that, but I don't. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to wrestling Dakota. I think she's an amazing talent, and seeing her from the independent scene in all the years that I've seen her, and how she transformed herself, to what she is now, this badass persona, and just doesn't care. Like, she's there just to do what she's got to do, and put people in their place. And I'm in that same mentality. So you're going to see two different sides of, two wrestlers that people are used to seeing. I think with Dakota, I think she forgets what I'm all about. People see, this side of Mercedes, the brutality, the physicality, and then they see everything that I've done over my years. But man, when I get in there and, I wrestle someone who I've seen transform themselves, I don't take anybody lightly whatsoever. Dakota is one of the top, women wrestlers on NXT. So going into this match, I'm going to make a statement on her as well as the NXT roster that, yeah, I've been here for a little bit. Yeah, I've been waiting and biding my time, but this is the match that's going to put me back on that top tier and put me back to where I need to be to, vie for that women's title.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you just said it right there. You guys have that in common, too. The evolution of both of your personas, characters, in the ring, everything, really. The overall presentation has changed drastically in the last year or two. Kind of take me through the evolution of Mercedes Martinez in NXT from when you first signed a year and a half ago, I think it was at this point, up until April of 2021.
I think when I first, when I, got to NXT, I was coming off, a big women's tour of the independent. So then, I think WWE wanted to ride that high of me getting signed. So it was just still being my, awesome, badass self from the independents and, taking that persona. It wasn't that I had a character. I was just being me. What you see is what you get. And that's really been my mentality and my character for the last 20 years. I don't change for anybody. What you see is really what you get. It's really what I am. I'm a no-nonsense type of wrestler. And I think as the months came and then the pandemic hit, I really had to step back and just kind of look at what I wanted to do and take in all the coaches and take in all this character stuff that, is different for me. When you wrestle on the independent scene, you don't think about that kind of stuff. You're on not to say that it was a small scale, but you really are on this little bubble of the production and all of this stuff, that you don't get to even think about stuff like that. But when you get to NXT and WWE, it's a whole bigger production. Everything is seen from the moment you walk onto that ramp and the moment that people see you on TV. Everything matters. So I really had to take it up a notch. And when I made my, I don't know, I guess you could say re-debut. After that, I think that's how you want to call it, right? A re-debut. I think after the pandemic, it was still trying to figure out what kind of a character, what kind of a presence I wanted to show to people. And it was trial and error. It really was just trying to figure out some things with the entrance gear and the jacket and the music. Everything was always trial and error. Unfortunately, you have to do it on TV, which sucks. But, I kind of just went in there and just said, all right, this is who I am. Let me play with this. Let me play with that. And regardless of what, people liked or didn't like, the feedback was great for the, majority of anything that I did. And now I'm really comfortable with what I have. With the music, it's really badass, really intimidating, really dark. And, the gear that I wear now has always a significance to what I'm supposed to do with, the top and the Puerto Rico flag being on my gear now. Just everything has some symbolism to what I'm trying to do. I'm evolving as a wrestler. I'm evolving as a performer and as an entertainer now. So everything is being put together, and I'm really comfortable and content to where I am. And I think, the final product is just showing me more badass, more intimidating, and really just that dominating presence. And I couldn't be more happier than I am right now.
For sure. And I'm glad you mentioned that trial and error process too, because I think what a lot of people forget is that with the current pandemic situation, there are no live events. You don't really have that trial and error on the house shows and everything else like that. So we're kind of seeing that evolution on TV from week to week, which is really interesting. So you signed in late 2019. We've seen you on and off, obviously, with the pandemic stuff, but you were part of the first Mae Young Classic. You were part of the second Mae Young Classic. Was coming to WWE, and obviously you've had an incredible career over the last 20 years, but was coming to WWE always the end game for you, or really was it just more a matter of when and where and everything else that kind of lined up for you when you signed a couple of years ago?
It was always the end game. It was always, this is where I need to be. I think that, throughout the career that I think it was going to happen. Not necessarily. I always wanted to push for it. I still wanted to wrestle. And if the opportunity came, in my head, I was like, I'm going to sign. I've been all over the world, and, there was opportunity to probably, do some overseas work and keep that as my focus, as that's what I was doing for most of 2019, was just traveling overseas and making my mark there. And that probably would have been it. But when opportunity came and that was it, I took it, because at the end of the day, that's really the goal of mine, is to be on the big national stage. And WWE that's it. This is where I'm going. Thank you very much. And I'm going to make my mark, and I'm going to prove it to the world once again. For those who don't know me, they will know me. So it wasn't just, if it comes, it comes. I knew it was going to come. I just didn't know when.
Yeah.
I didn't know when the opportunity was going to present itself. And I'm just glad it presented itself now, because, man, I'm at my peak right now.
Yeah. Yeah, everything happens for a reason. The timing was perfect, especially with the current state of the NXT women's division. There's just so much talent. And the women's division has always been great. I mean, you could have come in 5 years ago and it would have worked out just as well, but there's just a surplus of talent right now, a lot of great matches to be had, which is super cool. And you kind of touched upon this before in terms of, coming back, the trial and error process and everything else. You've been back in NXT now for a little bit. Do you feel like you've officially found your footing? And obviously it's difficult going from NXT. You were on Raw for a little bit. You're back in NXT. So it's kind of a start and stop type thing, but do you feel like this is the Mercedes Martinez living up to her full potential? I mean, that might not be the best way to put it, but like officially finding your footing, or is it still that process of like, okay, finding out what works and we haven't found your full form, I guess, so to speak, yet?
No, I think everything is always a trial and error. I think every time that you step foot out through that curtain and onto that ramp and being on TV, you want to always be better than the last time you were on TV. You always do. You always want to prove your worth, and you always want to let people know, hey, I'm here. And every time that you go out there, you want to just let them know, yeah, I'm evolving every time. And the stop and go on the trial and error, I had yet to fulfill, my dreams and fulfill my goals here at NXT. And I just think that right now I'm hitting that stride really, really good. And I don't think there's going to be a stop and go anymore. I just think right now, working through this pandemic and the issues that I had to deal with on a personal level with the pandemic, I'm finding my stride. I'm finding that routine. I'm finding everything is working now. And it had to happen this way. Maybe not for anybody else, but for me, Mercedes, things happen for a reason. They really do. And no matter how hard I want it to change, if it's not going to change, it's not going to change. I try to create the opportunities. I create as much as I can. But if it's not worth it to happen at that moment, then it's not worth it to happen at that moment. So right now, I'm very happy. I'm still striving to be better than I've ever been. The trial and errors will always continue because I always push myself to be better than what I was and better than I am now. So, you know, what you see right now is great. But, man, I just can't wait to actually hit that bigger stride and on a bigger platform and just, you know, get these matches going. And with the roster that we have, man, I'm tapping into unlimited potential with these female wrestlers right now. It is ridiculous how much I just want to get in there with every single one of them. I don't care if you've been in business a year. I want to get in the ring with you because not only is this going to, you know, help them, it's going to help me as well, because all of these female wrestlers at NXT really push me to my limit, really pushes me, and it gives me that drive to be better because they're striving for that. So when you're in that core group and you're in that, you know, mentality of everyone is supporting each other and they just want to push you, it's only going to make me 10 times better than what I am now. And that's what I'm striving for now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up, too, because really any opportunity just to see you in the ring is a great one, whether it be against the Dakota Kai tomorrow night or against Jessica May a couple of weeks ago. Anytime we see your entrance as a fan, it's badass. You know, again, like I said earlier, shit's about to go down, so it's definitely cool to see. And you already kind of answered this, but again, everything happens for a reason. We saw you on Raw very briefly with the Retribution stuff. I know you've already addressed that in the past. In retrospect, that was probably the best decision to make, was to go back to NXT. I mean, again, you can make the most of any situation you're in. If you're on Raw right now, that's still not a bad spot to be in. It's the flagship show. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. But probably going back to NXT, best case scenario in terms of where Retribution is now, which is to say, I guess, non-existent.
Yeah, I think, you know, I did touch base on it, you know, a few months ago, but I think, you know, going back to it now, do I regret the decision? No, I do not. I think, you know, I have to always put forth what is great for me in my career now. I can't look in the future. I don't know what can happen in the future, but I have to take the opportunity and what's best for Mercedes Martinez's career at this moment. And I think with Retribution, you know, we just the opportunity, I took the opportunity, but it wasn't the right opportunity. It didn't feel right in my heart to be there. And, you know, with the crew there and then, you know, with the Retribution members, I praise nothing for, you know, I praise all the best for them. I really do. And I think that, you know, they're young enough to, you know, really do what they got to do and take the opportunity and ride it and kill it. But just for me personally, on a personal level, I just think it wasn't the right opportunity for me. I took it. I felt it feel a little off, and I just wanted something for right now. I needed to do what I needed to do now, so people can see Mercedes Martinez now, not 3 months from now, not 5 months from now, not a year from now. I need to make my mark now, because longevity is the name of the game. You know, 100%. I don't know how many, you know, I don't know, you know, what's going to happen in a year. So I think with Retribution, as much as I love the opportunity and I am very blessed to have that opportunity, it just wasn't right for me. And we all agreed. And here I am in NXT killing it and doing what I need to do there and making my mark where I need to make my mark.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about taking those opportunities, making the most of them, and doing what's right for you at the end of the day, like you said. With the Raw or a SmackDown, again, taking those opportunities, is that something you're still interested in, whether it be, you know, 6 months from now, it could be a year from now, really whenever the opportunity presents itself? That's got to be something you're still interested in down the road, right?
Of course. I mean, you know, the name of the game is to, you know, for me, is to get to WrestleMania and you know, win a title there or be a champion, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. That's really, you know, the ultimate platform and the name of the game. And would it come in a month? Who knows? Would it come in 6 months? But that's really the goal, to be there. And I want to do it as Mercedes Martinez. I want to do it as the badass that everyone knows and loves, and to go there intimidating and just kill it like I've always do. And that's you know, what my future is. It really is. When it happens, I don't know. But right now, the opportunity is for me to, you know, beat Dakota tomorrow night and make my statement with Dakota, and then, you know, go on to Raquel at some point and then make my mark there. You know, I have my small goals, and you have to reach those small goals first and take those opportunities before you can reach those, you know, big dreams and those big goals of being on Raw and SmackDown. And hey, Raw and SmackDown call me tomorrow, you know, after Dakota, I'll be like, all right, yeah, I'm here. We'll see what the opportunity takes me. Like, I'm not one to, you know, miss an opportunity. I'll take it, but if it doesn't feel right in my heart or anything, then, you know, we go from there. It's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes sense. And you look at the current state of the NXT women's division, there's, again, just such a wealth of talent. Like, there's new people coming in all the time, so we get to see fresh matches constantly. And one of those women is Frankie Monet, the former Taya Valkyrie, who just debuted recently. Now, you two do have history, right? You guys have worked one-on-one against each other before?
Once, briefly, yeah. We had one match only, and that was it.
So is that going to be a match you're looking forward to having again down the road?
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to be in the ring with her and let her know that cats are better.
Again, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's a matchup where the styles are going to mash up perfectly, so I'm looking forward to it. Cat versus dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a never-ending battle to determine which pet is better.
Yeah. I'm so excited for her to be a part of this roster. Like, I am so, like, it's ridiculous. Like, you know, wherever our paths take us, you know, when you see people that you've been on the scene with for so long get to, you know, reach their dreams and their goals too, it's like, oh my God, now we really get to, you know, beat each other up on a bigger stage now. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. And, you know, I can't wait to see, you know, how she, you know, really does. And I'm so excited for her, you know, with her little dog. You know, I kind of want to bring my cats out now on a leash and something, you know.
I don't think we've seen that before. I mean, maybe. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure how many people have brought out cats.
I don't know. My cats, my cats go on a leash. I walk my cats. They're, you know, they're old, but I walk them. You know, I can put a face mask on them if need be. They can come out with me. Hey, why not, right?
Exactly. I don't think we've ever seen not just an intergender, but like an interspecies match with, like, you know, person and dog, person and cat. So maybe we get that in NXT down the road. Who knows? You know, but
be part of a video game.
Exactly. And with this division too, you kind of mentioned this earlier. You just want to face anybody, everybody, and everyone in NXT. You know, obviously Raquel is the goal. She's the current NXT Women's Champion. We got Dakota tomorrow night. That's an awesome matchup. When you visualize yourself, whether it be at a Takeover or a WrestleMania, as you mentioned, and we've kind of seen you and Io a little bit before. I don't think we've seen that one-on-one yet. Are there any matches specifically, in addition to Frankie and Raquel and those women specifically, that you see yourself, listen, I really, really want to have it to this point, and I'm super excited to have down the road?
Well, when it comes to the NXT roster, I really do want to wrestle Frankie. I do want to have that one-on-one with Io. I really, really do. You know, we've crossed paths, and we never had that one-on-one encounter, and I really do want to get in the ring with her. And even with the new talent that's coming in, I see a lot of potential. But when it comes to dream matches or anything like that for NXT, I'm just there just to wrestle anybody. I don't care who you are. You can be a year in the business. I want to wrestle you. Why? Because I do. You know, I just love wrestling, and I really do just always want to put, you know, 250% with anybody I'm in the ring. Whether it's a learning experience for them, it's always a learning experience for me as well. But definitely, you know, on the top of my list would be, you know, Frankie, you know, as well as Io and even Sarah, who just came in. I definitely want to I want to up my game, and to do that, you have to wrestle those who already have that credibility behind their name. You know, I wrestled Toni Storm many times, and she's just hitting her stride, and she's, you know, I already wrestled her. But not that I've been there, done that, but I want to keep proving my worth against new opponents that people have not seen yet. And you know, when it comes to like a Raw or SmackDown, or, you know, my biggest goal right now is to wrestle Natty Neidhart. Like, I've yet to wrestle her, and that's another dream of mine and another goal of mine, you know, going in the future. Yeah. And it will happen. It really will. But I just think I just want to wrestle. Just put me in front of anybody. Just give me somebody. Let me beat them. Pulverize them. Just give me anybody. It doesn't matter. Exactly. That's the name of the game at this point, right?
Yeah. No, it's a great goal to have. Really, just anyone and everyone. I love that. Last question for you, Mercedes. My girlfriend's an equally big fan of yours, and she would love to know: do you have a favorite tattoo that you have? She's a big tattoo fan. You obviously got a lot of them. Do you have a favorite tattoo by any chance?
Oh, man, I have so many. Yeah, I do have a lot, don't I? I won't say I have one favorite tattoo. I will say that I have a favorite arm, which is my right arm.
Okay.
That arm has a lot of pieces on there, that goes from up to the shoulder and to the back shoulder, that just symbolizes everything that I've gone through in the last 20 years for the most part. Everything, all the other pieces that I have on my body are just pieces here and there, but that right arm really symbolizes a lot of me and what it really means. If you look at the arm, it has a phoenix, it has a cross, it has, a diamond, it has a Mori piece for, a friend of mine. It has, my Mercedes logo in the back. Like, it has all these pieces, stars that represent me and what I've gone through my life. And so I can't just pick one. I just have to pick that whole arm, because that's really the arm that really signifies me up to this point. I mean, I'll add a lot more pieces, but that's the arm that won't be touched ever again. It is what it is. That's the arm that I would look back on it, but man, I remember why I got this. I remember why I got this tattoo. There's reasons, deep meaning to them. So yeah, it's the whole arm, the whole right arm.
Awesome. That's a good answer. I'll have to let her know when I talk to her. But yeah, Mercedes, this has been great. We're going to see you in Dakota Kai tomorrow night on NXT live on USA Network. It's going to be great. Mercedes, thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Keep representing TT well as well.
Oh, yeah, Brad, baby.
Thanks, Mercedes. Have a great day.
You too.